Hello everyone and welcome back to Personal Beauty. I'm your host Shannon. Today we're going to be reviewing some of the OliveYoung top sellers or top picks for today. If you guys are new to the show, let me just explain a little bit about what's going on. So for this series we're going to be focusing on the Korean concept of 올다무. 올다무. So 올다무, for those of you guys that are unfamiliar with this, represents OliveYoung, Daiso, and Musinsa. So for today's episode, we're going to be doing OliveYoung as far as the products that we're going to be focusing on. Last episode, we focused on Daiso. So for today, let's first jump into what is OliveYoung, why are people so infatuated by it, and why is it a top tourist destination when they come here to Korea. So OliveYoung is your one-stop beauty shop, period. They have all sorts of brands, not just Korean, but of course they do have a host of Korean brands and products. One of my favorite places to shop ever is OliveYoung. The chokehold that the store has on me is kind of ridiculous. But especially what they're known for is their skincare. So we're going to be jumping into some of these popular products that we've seen really often at OliveYoung. But I want to do a quick recap about last week's Daiso episode. So for Daiso's episode last week, we did talk a little bit about what Daiso is, but we also focused on their beauty section especially. So we're going to be comparing and contrasting a little bit. I do want to touch on price point and accessibility. Before we get into everything, I just wanted to say hello to everybody in the comment section down below. Hello, what did you do to your eyes? Just didn't wear as much makeup today, but we are going to talk a little bit about makeup as well. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and get right into it. I'm going to first introduce these products and then we'll go from right to left, just like last week. We're going to talk a little bit about each one and maybe test out a couple of them. So right here, I wanted to start with the number one bestseller, probably the most popular sunscreen globally at the moment. This is the Beauty of Joseon Relief SPF 50. What I like about this one, and I think the reason it's so popular, is because one of the main bases of this product is actually rice water. And rice water and ceramides usually are very calming, very soothing for the skin. So this is really well suited to most skin types. What I like about this one in particular, this packaging is blue. Beauty of Joseon has two types of this sunscreen. There's a chemical and a mineral. The one I'm holding now is a mineral sunscreen. For those of you guys that aren't familiar kind of with the difference there, mineral sunscreens do tend to be a little bit thicker. Mineral sunscreens reflect sunlight versus chemical sunscreens which absorb and disperse sunlight. So these are going to act as a little bit of a reflective mechanism. With this one, you'll experience a little bit of that shine essentially, but what I like about it is that it's also soothing and hydrating. So I'm just going to go ahead and open it right up and give you guys a little sneak peek about what this kind of looks like on the skin. I have been dying to try this, so it's kind of an excuse for me to try it as well. This is the packaging. It's super compact. I actually quite like it because you can fit this easily in your bag. Another one that's really important, I don't know how well you guys can see that. Maybe it's on the box. There's this right here. This is the PA+. This is not something that's really familiar to Western brands, I would say, but this plus actually represents the length of time that the sunscreen will last before you have to reapply. If you guys are searching for a sunscreen in Korea, this is arguably one of the most important things that you'll have to look for. This one actually has 4 pluses, which represents 45 minutes of time for each plus. So with this one, you wouldn't have to reapply for at least a little while. But let's go ahead and without further ado, just give this texture a try. Okay, so remove the safety seal, obviously. All right, let's just see what it looks like. Oh, wow. Okay. Immediately, it came out very watery, which I'm not used to. Typically, Western sunscreens are very thick. Look at that. No white cast. Nice shine. And it doesn't feel greasy at all. My skin is absorbing it almost immediately. Completely gone. That is crazy. I can definitely see why this is a top seller. This is definitely one that I would be interested in having as well. So good on you, OliveYoung, for this product. It's amazing. Price point wise, I would say that this one, as far as prices, is about average for sunscreens in Korea. At the moment, it's a little hyped, so it might be a little bit more expensive. But you guys can also go to the OliveYoung global website. They do have an option for shipping worldwide. So definitely check this one out. One of my new favorite sunscreens now, for sure. This next one is the VT Cica Riedel Shot. This is actually the 300 version. We tried the, I believe it was 100 version last time. The difference is this one is just a little bit stronger. I touched on this one quite a bit last episode when we talked about Daiso, where the price point was only about 3,000 won. If you guys go get this at OliveYoung, it is going to be more expensive. It is a little bit bigger. And of course, you guys do have like the, quality control stickers on this one, which is kind of nice. But with this one, I would say it retails for around 15,000 won, so it's about triple triple the price. But with this one, basically what a Riedel shot does is it acts like a chemical microneedling solution. If you have really problematic skin, if you have really dry skin, if you struggle with rosacea, all of these issues can be helped with microneedling. But a chemical solution to that, or chemical microneedling, would definitely be a little bit easier to do at home. It'd be a lot less expensive. I would say that this is not the most suitable for sensitive skin types. Specifically this version, just because it's the 300. So when you guys, or if you guys are looking for the VT Riedel shots, there's a difference between 50, 100, 300, 500. This one represents one that you should use every 3 days. So just keep that in mind. Don't overuse this product, guys. It is a fantastic way to resurface the skin, help with absorption, help with pigmentation and all of that. But I wouldn't overuse it. It can be a little bit sensitivity aggravating. So just keep that in mind. All right, let me check in with the comment section and see what you guys have to say for a second, and then we will continue. Beauty of Joseon needs to sponsor Shannon. That would certainly be a dream. Maybe zoom in and see what she's showing the product. I'll try to hold it a little bit closer if I can, you guys. Let's see, need a close-up shot. Have you ever used VT or Daiso microneedle patch? Great point, Koreanet. So VT, like I said, this is a chemical microneedling solution. So when you put this on your skin, you're going to feel a bit of a tingle. What's happening is your pores that are shaped somewhat like this are going to absorb that solution, and it's actually causing microscopic tears within the pore. This actually triggers a healing response within the skin, but also allows you to absorb product better. Microneedling patches, on the other hand, which are really great options for cystic acne, for example, or for pigmentation, whether that's from acne or from sun damage. These patches have little tiny needles on the top, and you're going to stick them on the skin. It's going to create just enough surface level damage in that particular area to kind of trigger that same healing response. So two different mechanisms, I would say. This one's definitely a little bit more of a full face, more intense option, but the microneedling patches are really great for spot treatments. Next up, we have the Wellage or Well Age. This is actually the one-day kit. This one is so popular in Korea at the moment. The one-day kit is something that people often use for events, for example, like a wedding or a photo shoot or some sort of filming. Basically, this one is going to be a hyaluronic acid balm for your skin. Hyaluronic acid is one of those components that your body actually creates naturally, but when you're giving your skin that extra moisture externally, it actually helps to prevent excess oil production. It helps to reduce the pore size. A lot of great benefits to that. So most hydrating products will have hyaluronic acid. This is just a little bit more of a intense version. This is not what I expected to see, but this is pretty cool. It's broken up into two parts. I don't know how well you can see that. I'm just going to remove one of each so you guys can see a little bit better. So one of these is actually a solution. I don't know if you guys can see, it's quite liquidy there. The other part is actually this little pot, which I'm assuming is a cream. We'll take this out in just a second and look at it. They actually have different labels as well. This is called a hydrate capsule. And this one is called the, aminosome. So amino acids, otherwise known as peptides as well, are going to be protein compounds that help to make your skin a little bit stronger. So my assumption is that you would mix these two together to get that sort of nice, glowy, mattified skin texture appearance. This is something that I would definitely use under makeup for an event, or if your skin is just really particularly dry, this is awesome. I really like how organized they are with everything. They just put everything in some beautiful little packaging. It's also quite informative. There's a lot of information on each one of these, so you guys can definitely check that out. So let's read on the back and let's actually see what's in this one. So it's an HA aminosome, so it's got amino acids in it, which are, again, are protein derivatives. And then we've got hyaluronic acid. So it seems like it's pretty simple. It even gives you the breakdown on the packaging about how many ppm are in each capsule, which I think is quite cool. So it's sodium hyaluronate, pronunciation? I don't know. But anyway, this is definitely something that's definitely blowing up in Korea right now, especially for photo shoots and things like that. I'm actually quite curious. I'm going to open these up if you don't mind, just to kind of see what's going on. I'm very curious to try the textures as well. Oh, slippery. Oh, I don't know if you guys can see that. There's a little tiny ball in there. Okay. It's incredibly light. This feels like air. It feels like I'm holding a little cotton candy or like those little peanuts for packing. So what happens if I squeeze it? Oh, I flattened it. Oh, okay, I see. This sort of like flakes off and it becomes like a little clay. So my assumption is that you mix the liquid with the clay, you get like a nice creamy situation. I'm not going to do that right now just for the sake of time. Also for the fact that I don't want to make a mess and probably will. For those of you that have ever watched my previous live shows, I'm not the most, I would say, organized person, or most like, I'm pretty chaotic, I would say, during lives. So we'll take a look at some of these products if we have a little bit of time after, but I've still got some things to touch on. Let's just go ahead and look through the comments really quick. Shannon's so insightful about her skincare. I've learned so much. Yeah, so for those of you that aren't aware, I actually do work at a Pibukwa, which in Korean actually means skincare clinic or aesthetics shop / spa, however you would like to put that. But in my time being there, I actually do something called a skin analysis. This is where I take an up-close look at people's skin. I look at things like texture, pigmentation, hydration. And then from there, I help people to not only decide on a treatment, but to decide on what products are good and bad for their skin. So I've learned a lot through this process. I've learned a lot about what certain ingredients do, who they're for, and how to use them. If you guys have any questions about skincare or beauty as far as like, a skincare routine and things like that, don't hesitate to drop a question in the comments. I love this conversation, but I'm more than happy to give you guys what information I can. So let's just keep it moving. We're going to actually switch gears a little bit. I'm going to move away from some of the skincare products that we have here, and we're going to talk about makeup, one of my other favorite topics. For this one, this is actually called the Peripera Velvet No. 8 Ink. So just based on the packaging, I would assume that this is going to be like a lip tint or some sort of cream that you can blend into a blush or for an eyeshadow as well. On the back, on the packaging, this one is actually called My Fave Piece. So let's just see. Velvet Ink, No. 8. It looks really spicy, really red. Oh, cute. I like this packaging as well. So let's open it up here. All right, a nice little sort of capsule situation here. You got a little syringe. Oh, it's a wand. Cute. Okay, so this looks like a little bit more red / pink than I would typically go for, but of course I have to swatch it for you guys. So let's give it a go. I'm going to test and talk about the texture. We'll talk about the coverage and things like that. Okay, so let's just go right in. Oh man, okay, so this texture, I'm obviously no stranger to makeup products. This texture right away is very creamy. I don't know how well you guys can actually see that. I'm going to slide it right here so you guys can maybe see how it moves. So it's actually really nice. This blends out almost like a paint. So like I said, this one is a tint, which means I'm going to have a hard time getting this off later, but it does mean that it's actually going to be a long wear product. So this is really beneficial, especially for people that like to go out, or if you're going to be out for an event like a wedding, for example. This is something that you wouldn't have to touch up throughout the day. Tint usually implies as well that there's no transfer. So once the product dries, if you are to like kiss the back of your hand, for example, or put your lips on a glass, the color is not going to come off and transfer onto whatever that object is, or person. You never know. But anyway, this is one of those products that would be like a long-lasting situation, and just because of the packaging, I can tell that there's quite a lot in here. I think with this particular one, again, this is by the brand Peripera. This one comes in many different shades. I believe there's 10 at the moment, but we'll have to check it out a little bit later online. Like I said, OliveYoung is not just a one-stop beauty shop for skincare, but this is also for makeup. So definitely check it out. I'm a big fan of Korean makeup styling, and especially with spring, you're going to get a lot of bright colors like this one. So let's move on. I've successfully already made a mess like I told you I was going to, but we're going to actually check out this next one here. This is going to be the My Fave Piece in the color Berry. This one is actually an eyeshadow, so let's see. I am wearing some eyeshadow now, but don't worry guys, I will swatch it for you. Let's just open it up here. I'm trying my best not to make a mess. I'm just trying to keep this finger out of the way. Let's see. Okay, so right away, I don't know if the light can catch that. There's a bit of a shimmer on this one. We tried a couple different types of eyeshadows last time. There was like a little mini 4-pack palette. This is a single one, so I actually prefer these single shadows because they come with a lot more product in the pan. So they're going to last you a lot longer, but it's also a better way to build your perfect palette at home with colors that you like for your skin, with colors that you're used to using, and ones that you're going to get good wear out of. I think the problem when you buy a big palette, for instance, is there's always going to be those couple really bright colors or dark colors that don't suit you. So this is a really great way to sort of build your makeup, collection. Let's take a look at this one here. It is a pretty light pink. This isn't usually something that I would wear. Wintertime, I might gravitate towards something like this. But summertime, when I get a little bit of a tan, I think this might blend in a little bit. You guys, I don't know if you can see that. That is a crazy color transfer right there. It's nice and shiny. It's nice and creamy. This one isn't quite as soft as the other one that we tried, but that was more of a matte color. Typically, these glitter shadows are going to have a little bit more fallout. One thing that's important, though, and I don't know how many ladies out there are watching that use eyeshadow, when you're swatching an eyeshadow that has glitter, it's important to go past that top layer because there are some brands that actually just spray a top coat that make it look shimmery when it's not. That is not the case here. This actually looks really nice. I like the quality so far, so let's see. Okay, come on, pigment. That looks great. That's super pigmented. That came out really nice on my hand. I mean, regardless of how bright this tint is, you can still see that eyeshadow there. This looks really, really nice. Color-wise, I don't think it came out quite as bright as it looks in the pan on my skin tone. I think on my skin it actually looks quite lovely. It's a very nice sort of cherry blossom color, which I think is actually perfect for the season that we're in right now, which is cherry blossom season. So for those of you guys that would be coming here to buy maybe some unique makeup pieces, I think this would be a really great option. Texture-wise, like I said, this is super comfortable. There was not a lot of fallout at all. I really like this one, actually. I would say that this one is one of my favorites as far as the makeup products that we've tried so far. So we've got one more product that we're going to touch on really quick. Unfortunately, I couldn't actually get the full product today, so I did bring you guys a little bit of an abbreviated version. This one is actually the Dr.Jart brand. So Dr.Jart is one of my all-time favorites. This is one that I actually use daily for their skincare. Most commonly, Dr.Jart is used for things like facial scrubs. It's also used for soothing, calming gels. Some of the main ingredients in almost every single one of their products is something called ceramides. Ceramides are protein compounds that are very similar to peptides, but ceramides are going to help to rebuild skin tissues while also helping with brightening. So if you do have any issues with rosacea, for example, ceramides are a great go-to for you. If you have any issues with pigmentation, this is something that's going to be really healthy and hydrating for the skin, but it does over time help to brighten certain pigmentation issues as well. This particular one is actually a mask. This is the Intense Soothing Repair Serum Mask. The product that we were going for, but I believe was actually unavailable or sold out, which just goes to show how popular it is, was the Repair Gel or the cream. So this is one that would have been more of a jar situation. If you guys Google it, you'll find it immediately. I wish I could try this right now. I'm a big sucker for face masks, so I love this one. But specifically for like what this one does and kind of what the texture is like, this is going to be a typical jelly sheet mask. So jelly sheet mask versus a paper sheet mask, these tend to hold moisture onto the skin a little bit longer. These are also going to be a little bit stronger of a deposit. So jelly sheet masks versus a paper sheet mask will tend to have a little bit of a stronger concentration as well. This one in particular is actually going to soothe, hydrate, and repair skin tissue. Dr.Jart in general is a dermatologist-tested brand that I definitely trust. This is one that I said, like I said, I used daily. This is one that I recommend to my clients a lot, specifically for dry, combination, acne-prone, or irritated skin and rosacea. Definitely give them a try. Definitely check them out if you guys come to Korea. You can also find some of these products on the OliveYoung Global website. I hope you guys get a chance to try the actual cream. I wish I could try one today, but now I've got a cheeky little mask that I can try it later. Maybe I can let you guys know about it next episode. So really quickly, I'm going to do a check-in on the chat. I want to see how you guys are doing. If you guys have any questions, now would be a great time for some Q&A. Does OliveYoung have worldwide shipping? Yes, they do. I believe, to my knowledge, they don't ship to certain countries. I think it's due to certain chemical bans and things like that. It might be based on certain products. I can't be entirely sure. I do think there's certain blocks of things that you can't get, like product-wise. But to my knowledge, OliveYoung does ship globally. It's one of the easily most accessible things that you guys could probably get from Korea pretty quickly. From the States, for example, they actually have 3 subsidiary stores in the United States now. There's one in Dallas, one in LA, and one in New York. So if you're from the States, you guys should be able to get it pretty quickly. Is there a way for people outside of Korea to get our hands on these? Yeah, absolutely. Check out the OliveYoung Global website. You can also check out ones like iHerb, for example, which is sort of like a middleman between OliveYoung and or Korean products with other countries. Velvet tints are back. Which color would you wear every day? I'm a little bit more of like a deeper tone, like something a little bit more cool toned, just because I myself am a bit cool toned, so I wouldn't want to use anything too bright. Is that the place where they're environmentally friendly with the packaging? I'll have to double check on that. I'm not entirely sure, but thank you for asking. It's very important, especially when considering products. Your skin is glowing like glass. Thank you. It was not without a lot of effort. I definitely work really hard on my skincare. It's something I'm diligent about in the morning and in the evening. So maybe we can do another Q&A episode one day where I give you guys my whole routine. Cica versus Hyaluronic versus retinol for combination skin. Okay, this is the last question. We are running out of time. So Cica for combination skin is actually great. Cica is pretty acceptable for most skin types. Cica in general is going to be a chemical compound that helps with soothing and calming. It also helps to balance out oil production. So for combination skin, it's actually a great option. If you can't get your hands on a Cica product, try Centella or Heartleaf. These are three that are pretty, I would say, congruent as far as their effect on the skin. Retinol depends on your level of sensitivity, not necessarily combination dry or oily. If you have a very sensitive skin type, I would maybe start slowly with retinol and look for a low percentage retinol. Very important. Go for about 1% or lower. If you have a very sensitive skin type, then I would definitely say maybe try bakuchiol instead, which is a derivative of retinol. We'll get into it next time. But for combination skin in general, it's not necessarily a problem. And hyaluronic acid is good for everybody, to be completely honest. It's just hydration. This is beauty inspo for sure. We'll have to check it out. Can we get a product list later? Yes, guys, I will try my best to leave a product list down below. And I guess that wraps up the episode for today. I wish my makeup looked like this. Maybe we can do a makeup episode. I'll do my best to kind of cater to you guys as far as what you guys want. You know, we love your support, and we really appreciate you guys being here. It gives us the opportunity to actually have stuff like this every week. So make sure that you guys continue to tune in. Again, this was Personal Beauty. I'm Shannon. I'm your beauty guru for this. And I will be seeing you guys next week. Make sure that you guys check us out at 6 p.m. This was the OliveYoung episode, and we'll see you next week for Mushinsa. Bye, guys.